Hello, friends. Thanks for joining us on this. We are really excited about the possibility here of opening up this Sunday. So we have some things to go over real quick, and hopefully this answers your questions. And if it doesn't, just make a comment, and then we'll deal with those questions at the very end. Okay. So here's some things that we want you to know before you come on Sunday of what the process is going to look like and what we can expect. Okay. All right. Okay. So before you come, the bus is not going to be running. So any of our older members who were riding the bus, we're not going to begin that service yet. But we will evaluate that in the weeks to come, okay? Also, we want you to know that we are going to be continuing our live streaming services, just like we always have in these last few weeks. And it's still going to be at 10 o'clock. It is still going to be a 10 o'clock service. And so if you can't make the service this Sunday in-house, you can still catch it live stream just like you have been all of these weeks. Now, the state is recommending that anyone who is 65 years and older, or if you have an underlying at-risk health condition, feel free to stay at home, watch the services online. We want you to stay safe. Now, this is a recommendation. If you're over 65, we're not going to turn you away. That is the state recommendation. But just again, we want you to know the services will be available online. One thing that is asked is if you are symptomatic or if you have tested positive for COVID-19, we would ask that you join us online instead, because we don't want to expose anyone else who is here, okay? And so those are some things that you can expect before you come. Now, we want you to know also the facility. We've given some particular attention to the high contact surfaces. We've been cleaning the building. The custodial came in today, and we were disinfecting everything that we can touch. And so we're trying to have a clean facility, and then we will go through all of that after service again where we disinfect everything. And so we're trying to do our part to make sure that everything's taken care of before you arrive. Now, when you get here, there's some procedural things that we want you to understand. It's recommended from the state that masks or some kind of a face covering is utilized. It's not a requirement, but it is recommended. And so if that's what you want to do, if that makes you comfortable, by all means, wear a mask. And if you don't, you're still welcome. That is a state recommendation. We want everybody to enter through the front door on top of the ramp. The elders and the deacons are going to be stationed at the entry door, and then we're going to position them in the sanctuary as well to kind of navigate everybody through the foyer area so that we don't get hung up and we don't get a bottleneck out here in the foyer. And then to make sure that when we get into the sanctuary that we maintain the 6-foot social distancing guideline. And as families cluster together, we understand that's fine, but everyone else make sure that you're putting adequate space because we've chosen not to pull chairs. We think everybody can distance themselves. We will not have greeters. We will not be handing out a bulletin yet. We will do those in the weeks ahead. Hand sanitizer is going to be made available, so you are welcome to utilize that. We'll have that set out in various places. And we are encouraging, non-contact types of greeting. We as a congregation like to shake hands. We like to give hugs, and those are things that we're going to probably have to avoid for now. Maybe we can get back to those things eventually. Also, the coffee bar that we have in the foyer and the water fountains, all of that's going to be closed. We're not going to be serving coffee. We're going to bag off the water fountains. So if you feel like you need water to get through the service, we encourage you just to bring a water bottle from home. We won't be serving any of those refreshments or things when you're here. We are not going to be having Sunday school. This is just the 10 o'clock worship service. We, for the time being, are not going to open the nursery, and we are not going to have the preschool or the children's church either. This first Sunday, we're going to ask families to stay together. Now, the nursery as a room, it'll be open, but we're not going to staff it. And so if you need to utilize it as like a cry room, we understand, and you feel free to go ahead and utilize that as a cry room. Just know that right now we're not going to staff that until we do this for a week or two and we figure out what everything is going to look like, okay? So here's what's planned, okay? Again, we're going to have one service. We've decided to do this one service at 10 o'clock, and we'll see what the attendance is and what it looks like. If we fill up because of the spacing issue, we're going to overflow into the fellowship area downstairs, and so we'll have monitors set up and we can overflow downstairs, all right? The service format is pretty much going to be normal. There will be some slight modifications, but for the most part, it'll be the same service that we have all grown accustomed to. We are going to have communion, and what we've done is we have purchased pre-packaged, pre-filled communion cups that have a wafer on the top. It's kind of a double seal. I'll go over that with you on Sunday morning. And so when you come in, we will have those pre-filled communion cups, pre-packaged. They'll be available at the coffee bar. And we're going to ask you to pick as many up as you need for your family for that day. And then, as usual, we will take communion together during the service. So we're going to run that just a little bit differently. So make sure that when you come in, you pick those up. Also, we're not going to be passing the offering plate. We're going to have a box in the foyer, probably the traditional old white box that we use for everything. And you can drop your offering in there if you want to give Sunday morning. Or, as always, you can give online through Easy Tithe and that app or the giving tab on the website. So we'll make offering available, but we just won't be passing the plate. At the end of the service, one of the things that we want to avoid, again, is bottleneck out here in the foyer, because if we all rush out, then we get too close. So we're going to have the elders and the deacons help us out on this, and we're going to dismiss in phases, in groups, so we don't want everybody just rushing out at the end of the service, okay? So we are saving a seat for you. We hope to see you. We miss you dearly, and we hope that this is the beginning of a feel of normalcy for all of us, all right? All right, is there any questions that have come up, or have we answered, what was it? None? All right, so we hope to see you, and if you have a question, feel free to type into the comments, and we'll do our very best to get those questions and concerns answered for you. God bless.